You've probably felt it before. A moment when your presence seems dull, your resolve weak, your quiet strength compromised. You walk into a room, but instead of commanding respect, you feel overlooked. You speak, but your words carry no weight. You try to maintain composure, but inside you whisper, "This isn't who I truly am." What happened? You slipped into a habit, one of many small, almost invisible habits that chipped away at your aura. Gradually, subtly, they erode what makes you rare. These are not dramatic failures. They are quiet betrayals of the identity you hold inside. In this video, we will explore 8 habits that instantly kill your Sigma aura. Not over time, instantly. The moment you allow them, your energy falters, your inner boundary weakens, your magnetism dims. But this isn't about guilt. This is about awareness. This is about recognizing when you stray and choosing consciously to restore your presence. Because a Sigma man doesn't stumble blindly, he observes, adapts, and corrects without fanfare. Over the next few minutes, I invite you to sit with each point. Reflect deeply. Let these truths resonate within you. See where you may be slipping. Then decide, will you allow these habits or will you refuse them? Your aura is not built from imitation. It is forged by integrity, by small, consistent rituals, by boundaries that speak without words. The Sigma path is not loud or showy. It's quiet. It's deliberate. It's rooted. If you watch this with an open mind, you may catch yourself in your own reflections and begin to disarm behaviors that have held you back. This isn't just another list. It is a mirror. Use it. Now let's walk through each habit, one by one, and illuminate the hidden dangers they carry. Let each point land. Then after the list, we'll close with how to recover your aura when you catch yourself slipping. Number 1, habit, constant need for validation. You post, you wait, you crave likes, you fish for compliments. But here's the truth. When your sense of worth depends on digital applause, you hand your power to the crowd. Every like becomes a small dose of dopamine, the brain's reward chemical training you to chase the next hit of approval. Social media algorithms thrive on this loop. It's designed to keep you seeking validation, not fulfillment. Yet for a Sigma male, a man defined by independence and self-control, this dependency is a quiet form of slavery. A true Sigma doesn't measure himself by the world's reactions. His confidence is self-sourced, built on values and internal standards, not public perception. Psychologists call this intrinsic motivation, the drive that comes from within, not from the promise of praise. When you operate from intrinsic motivation, you're guided by purpose, not popularity. You start to move differently. Your work becomes art. Your silence becomes strength, and your validation comes from growth, not from attention. When you learn to pause before seeking praise, something remarkable happens. You reclaim your peace. You begin to see that real confidence doesn't need to announce itself. It's quiet, grounded, and complete. The man who finds contentment within no longer bends to impress. He acts with conviction, speaks with restraint, and stands firm even when unseen. So stop scrolling for validation, stop performing for approval. Your worth isn't in metrics, it's in mastery. The more you anchor your identity in who you are, not in what others think, the freer you become. Because when your value is self-defined, opinions lose their power, and you finally begin to live. Not to please, but to be. Number 2, habit, over-explaining yourself. A man who constantly justifies himself is unknowingly revealing uncertainty. Every extra word becomes a defense mechanism, not a declaration of truth. When you feel the need to explain every thought, every choice, or every silence, you're not protecting your integrity. You're negotiating it. The quieter a man's mind becomes, the more he understands that not everything needs to be defended. Silence, when grounded in confidence, communicates more powerfully than any argument. From a psychological standpoint, excessive explanation often comes from a desire for approval or fear of being misunderstood. It's rooted in what behavioral scientists call social validation dependency, the tendency to seek reassurance that one's decisions are acceptable to others. But true confidence doesn't need validation. When your mind is steady and your intentions are clear, you recognize that over-explaining only weakens your boundary. It opens a door for others to question your motives, plant seeds of doubt, and challenge your self-trust. Strong communication isn't about saying more, it's about saying precisely enough. When asked a question, answer briefly and truthfully. When misunderstood, don't rush to fix the narrative. Let your actions, consistency, and calm presence do the explaining. Those who truly understand you won't require a lecture, and those who don't aren't owed one. In this way, simplicity becomes your shield. It protects your peace, preserves your energy, and keeps your domain uncluttered by unnecessary noise. The man who learns this doesn't need to prove anything. His quiet certainty speaks louder than any justification ever could. Number 3, habit. Emotional volatility in public. Anger is a natural human emotion, but for a Sigma male, it's a test of mastery. When you let irritation or annoyance leak through your composure, you give away something far more valuable than words, your control. The Sigma's power has never come from dominance or loudness, but from calm precision, the ability to navigate conflict without being swallowed by it. In psychology, this concept ties closely to emotional regulation, a key factor in leadership and resilience. People instinctively trust those who remain calm under pressure because stability feels safe. When your mood becomes unpredictable, you send a subconscious signal of weakness, and others lose confidence in your strength. Neuroscience tells us that anger activates the amygdala, the brain's threat center, which can override rational thought if unchecked. But those who train themselves to pause, breathe, and respond rather than react, re-engage their prefrontal cortex, the seat of logic and decision-making. That's why self-control is the highest form of discipline. It's not suppression, it's strategic containment. You can feel deeply and still remain deliberate. So when someone tries to provoke you, understand this. They're testing your temperature. They want to see if they can pull you off balance, because emotional reactions are power leaks. The Sigma doesn't play that game. He listens, he observes. And when he speaks, it's intentional. His emotions serve him, not the other way around. That quiet restraint doesn't make him emotionless. It makes him formidable. True authority isn't proven by shouting or retaliation. It's earned through composure. Number 4, habit, chasing overcommitment. You say yes to everything. You overbook. You overpromise. Then you crumble. This is the silent trap of the modern man, mistaking constant availability for value. In reality, saying yes to everyone is saying no to yourself. A high-value man understands the rare commanding power of no. It's not arrogance, it's awareness. It's knowing that every yes carries a cost. Your energy, your focus, your peace. When you stretch yourself in too many directions, your focus fractures. Neuroscience shows that multitasking reduces cognitive efficiency by nearly 40%. That means the more you try to juggle, the less effective you become. Your mind scatters, your performance declines, and your presence weakens. You lose that magnetic calm that defines true confidence. The world begins to see you as unreliable, not because you lack ability, but because you lack boundaries. Refuse overcommitment. Protect your energy as if it were currency, because it is. Every successful leader, athlete, or visionary operates by this principle. Steve Jobs once said that focus is not about saying yes, it's about saying no to hundreds of good ideas. The same applies to your life. When your schedule is sacred, your priorities sharpen. You begin to move with clarity, purpose, and dignity. Your no becomes an act of self-respect, a quiet declaration that your time is valuable, your peace non-negotiable, and your mission too important to dilute. Choose your endeavors with intention, and you'll find that the fewer things you commit to, the more powerful your presence becomes. Number 5, habit, lack of intellectual rigor, shallow consumption. You live in a world overflowing with noise, headlines screaming for your attention, notifications buzzing like mosquitoes, and endless scrolls of content that promise wisdom but deliver distraction. Each click feels harmless, yet every shallow post and mindless video chips away at something sacred, your mental sharpness. When your mind is constantly fed with trivialities, it begins to lose its edge. Discernment dulls. You find it harder to separate truth from trend, insight from illusion. This is the quiet danger of consuming without intention. A Sigma male understands that the mind is a weapon. It must be sharpened, not softened. Depth is his nourishment. He doesn't chase fluff or gossip. He seeks challenge. He reads beyond what is comfortable, explores ideas that unsettle him, and questions what most people accept without thought. He recognizes that intellectual growth doesn't come from agreement, but from friction, the kind that forces him to think, to reason, to evolve. In psychology, this is called cognitive engagement. Actively wrestling with complex material strengthens neural connections and builds mental resilience. When you expose your brain to novelty and challenge, it adapts, becoming more capable of critical thought. Conversely, constant consumption of shallow, repetitive content leads to what researchers call cognitive atrophy, the mental equivalent of muscle decay. So consume wisely. Feed your mind with depth, not noise. Read books that stretch your imagination. Listen to thinkers who make you uncomfortable. Debate ideas, not people. Let curiosity be your compass and skepticism your shield. Over time, you'll notice the transformation. Your thoughts grow clearer, your words carry weight, and your intuition sharpens. A Sigma male doesn't drown in information. He drinks selectively from the stream of wisdom. While others are lost in the noise, he remains composed in clarity. His mind, disciplined and discerning, becomes his most powerful advantage in a world addicted to distraction. Number 6, habit, neglecting physical presence. You leave your posture to slouch. You ignore strength. You forget the body. These may seem like small lapses, but in truth, they're cracks in your foundation. Your aura isn't just the quiet confidence in your mind. It's the way your body speaks before you ever say a word. Every tilt of the shoulders, every stride you take, every breath you draw, sends signals to the world about who you are. When your physique slackens, when you stop honoring your physical vessel, your presence loses volume. People may not understand why your energy feels dull, but they will sense it instinctively. Modern psychology and body language research confirm this truth. Studies from Princeton and Harvard have shown that posture and stance influence not only how others perceive you, but also how you feel about yourself. Standing tall with your shoulders back can increase testosterone levels and lower cortisol, the stress hormone, helping you feel more confident and grounded. Conversely, slouching compresses your lungs, reduces oxygen flow, and tells your nervous system you're defeated. The mind follows the body's cues. That's why a slouched posture can subtly breed anxiety, low mood, and self-doubt, while an upright stance reinforces inner authority. Training your body then isn't about vanity, it's about energetic alignment. A strong body supports a calm mind. Stretching restores balance. Walking with intention cultivates discipline. Carrying your frame with dignity becomes an act of self-respect. When your muscles are engaged, your mind sharpens. When your breathing deepens, your energy stabilizes. Movement becomes meditation. The body becomes a temple, a living statement of inner order and awareness. Every step, every breath, every movement is an opportunity to communicate strength without words. The way you occupy space tells others how much you value yourself. If you carry yourself like a man at peace with his power, the world responds in kind. But if you shrink into yourself through neglect or carelessness, you teach others to overlook you. So train, stretch, walk with purpose. The body you build and the way you move through space form the container of your aura. It holds your energy, channels your intent, and amplifies your quiet strength. To forget the body is to mute your soul. To honor it is to let your spirit speak through form. Number 7, habit, inconsistent boundaries. You allow people to cross your lines. Little infractions overlook slights. Over time, they learn, this is acceptable. It starts small. A friend jokes at your expense. A co-worker interrupts you mid-sentence. Someone borrows your time or energy without asking. You shrug it off, telling yourself it's not worth the conflict. But what you're really doing is teaching them the limits of your respect, or rather, how easily it can be tested. Boundaries, once ignored, dissolve quietly. And when they do, people begin to treat you accordingly. Psychologically, this has to do with what social scientists call reinforcement learning. In simple terms, people repeat what works. If crossing your boundaries brings them comfort, advantage, or amusement without consequence, the brain remembers that as acceptable behavior. Over time, they condition themselves, not maliciously at first, but habitually to keep overstepping. You unknowingly become complicit in their training. The more you tolerate, the more they take. A Sigma male operates differently. He doesn't announce his limits with loud threats or emotional outbursts. He enforces them quietly, through consistent, calm firmness. His boundaries are invisible walls made of clarity and action. When someone disrespects him, he doesn't argue, explain, or plead for understanding. He simply adjusts access. The tone of his voice stays level, but his energy shifts. Doors close, attention withdraws, respect recalibrates. That's the art of silent discipline. This doesn't mean being cold or detached. It's about self-respect and emotional intelligence. Understanding that real authority doesn't need noise. Neuroscience even supports this. Calm assertion triggers respect responses in others because it conveys control, not chaos. People instinctively trust and obey those who appear self-possessed under pressure. When you act with composed certainty, you project psychological dominance without aggression. So, you don't need to shout. You just need to enforce once, clearly, consistently, and let your actions teach the lesson your words never could. The moment someone realizes that your boundaries are not negotiable, they either step back or step out. And that's exactly how it should be. A Sigma's silence is not weakness. It's the echo of strength that doesn't need to prove itself. Number 8, habit, living in reaction instead of creation. Most people spend their lives reacting to circumstances, to opinions, to noise. They move like leaves in the wind, shaped by whatever gust is strongest that day. They scroll, they chase, they imitate trends, lifestyles, and dreams that were never their own. This reactive state isn't living. It's surviving on autopilot. It's letting the outside world script your story while your inner voice remains silent. A Sigma male, however, operates from an entirely different frequency. He doesn't react, he designs. His actions are deliberate, his pace intentional, his silence strategic. In psychology, this is called self-determination, the ability to act from one's inner values rather than external pressure. Studies show that people who make decisions aligned with their core beliefs experience higher satisfaction and less regret. The Sigma embodies this principle without needing validation. He doesn't chase what's fashionable. He builds what's timeless. He may appear detached, but his detachment is discipline, a refusal to be moved by every fleeting impulse or opinion. When life throws noise at him, trends, expectations, temptations, he pauses. That moment of pause is his power. It's where he asks, is this my choice or the world's suggestion? In that stillness, he reclaims authorship over his path. To live this way is to move from vision, not reaction, from purpose, not pressure. Every decision becomes a reflection of his inner architecture, his blueprint. And that's what separates the Sigma from the rest. While others chase what's already been created, he quietly becomes the creator. You may realize that some of these habits quietly live within you, and that's okay. The first step to transformation is awareness without judgment. Growth begins when you see clearly what needs healing. Start small. Choose one habit that stands out and work on it tomorrow. Say no when you mean no. Resist the craving for constant validation. Learn to rest in silence without needing attention. Change is subtle, but each small act restores your inner power. Over time, your stillness becomes strength, your restraint becomes presence, and your silence becomes your language. You no longer chase energy, you command it.